Our second solve a quadratic literal equation is a little bit trickier because you'll notice there's not just an x squared, but there's also a singleton x. And that is what they are telling us to get by itself. So what we want here is like 1x equal to an equation that has absolutely no x's in it. That is how we solve for a literal equation. So we can't use the square root method here because it would leave an x under the square root, and that's just a mess. So we're going to need to think of this as something a little different. Well, if we think about it, what's the other method that we have that always will get a quadratic equation solved? It's going to be the quadratic formula. But remember, with quadratic formula, we need to be equal to 0. And right now we're equal to t. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract this t over to the left-hand side of this equation. So we get 0 equals 6x squared plus 2rx minus t. Now, I know this looks really funky, but we're going to think quadratic formula. So what is the a? What's the thing in front of the x squared? 6. What is the b? What's in front of the x? Is it just a 2? Is that the only thing sitting next to the x? No. B is going to be 2r, both of those things together. And then what is C going to be? Is it a number? Nope. C is going to be the letter negative t. So if we do this, this should help us get x by itself using the quadratic formula. So x equals negative, and remember the trick, if you're going to plug it into quadratic formula, put it in parentheses first. So x equals negative b plus or minus, and then a big square root. We need b squared, well, b is 2r, minus 4ac. Well, A is 6 and C is negative t. So this is looking a little weird, but we're going to trust the process. All over 2a. All right. Well, the only thing left to do is to simplify a little bit here. So what do we have? We have negative 2r plus or minus the square root of 4r squared, because when we square two things multiplied, both the 2 and the r have to square. Negative times the negative is going to give us a plus. 4 times 6 is 24. And then that's also times the t, all over 12. Now, you can stop here, and that is fully correct. So we can just stop at this point and say we have an equation for x, and we can move along. If you want to go really advanced, you're going to see that under the square root, 4 and 24 are both divisible by 4, so we can factor that 4 out. It'll come out into the front, and we can reduce it further. But for now, this is good enough. This will get us everything that we need to be able to do.